Hi. Hey, welcome back. It's been a minute. Welcome to Live Coding, not Happy Hour, Live Coding Elevenses. My name is Earl Duque. I am a senior developer advocate here at ServiceNow. And this show is part of a set of 3 shows where me and my colleagues live stream our coding things. We are building stuff, sometimes that we use for our work, sometimes just for fun, sometimes for the community, sometimes to try things out. But it just depends on the host. You can join my other hosts during their time slots. If you just go to our channel, you can see all the other different streams that we do for the show. It's been a minute because 2 weeks ago, when I was supposed to stream, I said I was going to stream when I was in Australia for the World Forum, but I didn't anticipate how tired I would be with that huge time change and the time jump to a different day. I flew over there and I skipped an entire day, which was weird feeling. But so I didn't stream 2 weeks ago when I was supposed to, but we're back, which also means let's hope that I remember what I'm doing during this stream. But for if you're just joining us and you don't remember what we did last time, previously on Live Coding Elevenses, we were building out our Promptception app where we were allowing a person to write out a prompt they would use in generative AI and letting our more robust prompt flesh it out to be a bigger prompt, a better prompt that people might want to use to kind of help you understand what goes into a good prompt and why it's important to build a good, robust prompt. And so we jumped into Now Assist Skill Kit and created a prompt that expands our prompt, and we structured it in the way that we want according to good prompt hygiene, the R.I.S.E.N framework. We went into this like nice explanation of what no shot versus one shot prompting is, and why it's good to follow a framework, or why it's good to give a role to your generative AI when you tell it to do something. If you want that clip, it's like a 10-minute monologue about me explaining how large language models work. It's on this channel. Just go into the videos tab and you'll see it's one of the more recent videos. And if you don't know how LLMs work, that's a video that's there for you. We did hit some formatting snags with the output from Now Assist Skill Kit when we were using the flow action. And basically we would say, let's get that part to work so that it can input it into the table the way we want it to, so that users can see it. And then we'll be essentially done with the app and I can move on to the next interesting thing to build. But okay, let's jump in. Let me share my screen. There we go. I have not logged in. I forgot what instance I was building this on when I was prepping for today. Like we try our best to not do prep work for these live coding streams because we want to show the full actual development process. That was a lot of the charm of the old live coding happy hour format. And so when I was just loading the instance, I was like, why am I not finding my app? And it's because I forgot what instance I was on, which I finally remembered. So we're here. We're here now. Okay. So now what we were doing, we're going to jump back into Flow Designer and go check out that flow action, that flow that we have running that is putting it into our table, and then we're going to try to fix it. But before we do that, I'm going to re-trigger it just so I remember exactly what it looks like. There it is. Promptception. Hey, Ben from UK. Thanks for joining. If anybody has questions or anything, I try to be active about watching the chat and stuff like that. So if you ever want me to talk about more what I'm doing instead of just skipping over it quickly, just let me know. All right. So let me go back into the prompts table that we made and set up an example. New. I am the submitter. my input will be write a song about service now development. So that will be our test right now, 1005. Let me just copy that number. And let's test it against that record. All right, that is finished running. Let's see if it updated it here. Okay, perfect. So did input it. See the so this is what our problem was when we had this last time. So it's still happening 4 weeks later, where it's taking the entire analysis skill kit output. Hi Paige. It's taking the entire analysis skill kit output and putting it into wherever we're asking it to put it, instead of actually trying to transform it into something else, or put it into individual pieces from this JSON. And so it worked. It's just it's not in the format that we want. So that's what our goal is to get into the format that we want, and then we'll pretty much done on the full core functionality of the app. Hi, Christy. So what's happening in this flow is it executes the skill with the prompt that we give it, and then puts the response of the skill one response, and we have status, error code stuff available to it. Hey Ravi, if you want a short summary of what we are currently doing, you can scrub back like 5 minutes. I did a full explanation of it. Basically, we are finishing up the Promptception app and getting the analysis skill kit output, the response, into a better format so that we can save it into a record. And I'm deciding on how I want to do that now. I think last time I tried to explore if there was a way to transform this response body into, because it's a JSON object, a stringified JSON object, and I want to parse it and then just show one of the pieces in it. But I don't think that's one of the transform functions available to me. So I now have to decide how I want to go about doing that transformation. Because I only want, goodness, what's a better way for me to format that? Here, let me try this. Here is JSON formatter, and whoa. So even inside of that is, oh goodness. Interesting. Okay, so if this is the output, it's embedded past that. What does this output look like? I need to extract. Oh, no, never mind. This is just in Markdown. Okay, so model output is correct. But we want to take it out of model output, and also, yeah, we want to take it out of model output. And then we also need to adjust the original skill to say the output should be in plain text. Okay, so that's two things we need to work on. We'll do the latter first. Now it's a skill kit, and we're going to change it so that it outputs not in Markdown. So I'm jumping back into now it's a skill kit. Going to wonder if, because in some like if you use the OpenAI API for ChatGPT, you can give it a system prompt and tell the system how it should behave, separate from the actual prompt, which is kind of cool. I don't think Now Says Skill Kit has that, so we might need to bake it into this prompt. Okay, so here's so it looks like it's a combination of bad prompting, a bad setup of the prompt, but also I one-shotted it and gave it no, I few-shotted it and gave it some bad examples, and so it returned exactly what I was trying to give it examples of. So that's my bad. Okay, let me try to fix that. So let's get rid of these markdown things. Let's add some line separators so it knows. So example one, original is this expected response. Yeah, expected response. Okay, that's a little bit better. Good response. It's interesting because it's a little confusing because you're asking. We have like a lot of layers into this, and we're hoping that the AI maintains cognitive like dissonance on what those layers are because we're asking it to be a little bit meta and we're giving it examples, so where will it put those examples kind of thing. um is this a no yapping situation? I'm scared that that will break layers on the process. So well, let's test this how it is. We're going to test it back on, oops, on the one we just did. Goodness, let me type. There it is. And so the expected output would be that prompt of that very short prompt that we gave it in that example, which honestly I'm already forgetting why I'm so bad at that. Write a song about ServiceNow development, and it should expand that into a much more robust prompt. Role, you are a skilled songwriter. Good. Instructions, your task is to compose it. Good. Here's the steps for it. End goal. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go back into that example And let's clear out this actually and just run it again. Make sure that it's going into that JSON object, but in the format that we want. So here it is. Where's my JSON prompter thing? JSON formatter. Okay, so it's in model output as we're expecting, but it's saying original prompt. Well, talking about nutrition? That's about breakfast smoothies. Do I have something in here about breakfast smoothies? No. Where did it get breakfast smoothie stuff from? Okay. Let's change that prompt just slightly and run that test again. What? Breakfast smoothie again. Okay, time to turn on logging and see what's going on with that. Oh, oops, I should have. Just one more time. I mean, maybe it. Chrissy is saying maybe it thinks this should be about second breakfast, but I don't think I wrote the show names anywhere. Let's see. Maybe I'm giving it the wrong input. So let's see what's going on. Execute skill. Output. Wait, write a song about ServiceNow Gallery. That's the prompt. More than cauliflower. What is going on? And then it outputted healthy breakfast. That is fascinating. Write a dev story for enhancing the incident table with auto group assignment. Let's put that in test. It just keeps giving back the smoothie thing. Oh man, this was supposed to be a fast episode. Didn't it work earlier? What was? Didn't the first time I ran this work? Okay, let's recreate it from scratch because actually, does it mention smoothies in here at all? No. Breakfast? No. It's writing. It's testing right here. Ah, did I need to finalize? I probably need to finalize, huh? That might be why. All right, let's just run that test again. Uh, okay, so it updated it. No, it's still the breakfast. It's still a breakfast. Where is it getting the breakfast from? So fascinating. There aren't any variable substitutions in there, right? Like what REST messages have. Um, there is only one, and it's prompt user input. But that is being fed from here, and it's getting it correctly. And there is no other one. Let's run this test for 5 again. But that's correct. This is good. Does this, okay, let's go back to the flow. That's pretty hilarious. Execute skill. This. Expand my prompt. And it's getting it, but we know it's getting it correctly, but why isn't it getting to the end correctly? Okay, so let's recreate it from the beginning. Write the top 10 suggestions for good coding practices. You got demoted. What do you mean, Christy? Oh, I don't see the chat number things on StreamYard side. Okay, so it's completely ignoring the input. But it is giving the prompt. Go, Ben. Go, Ben. All right, I'm going to take an axe to this entirely. Let me just make sure everything looks like so I remember what to put. Yeah, I'm gonna re-input that step just to see. Execute skill. It's my expand my prompt skill. Created. All right, so there is that. If no error on execute skill, output error code is empty. Update the prompt with the output. Actually, what was else in there? I want to see real quick. Response. And let's test that. Did it run? It didn't. It's the same value twice. Cool. So cool. So funny. All right. Well, maybe I'll think of something else. But in the meantime, let's solve the other problem that we were talking about earlier of getting it just to be the output. Thanks, Paige. Always looking on the bright side of life. Thank you, Paige. Paige says, "Well, at least you know how to make a healthy smoothie now." Thanks. So silly. Okay, so here we need to be able to convert that response to just the model output string formatted. I'm wondering if this is one of those things where I just build a custom action to handle it, and then um, and maybe I put that in like a small update set so people have it. All right, let's build an action. Alert, ask, response to just model output. But will be, I'm guessing, a string. We'll see real quick. We'll see soon. Ask response. Story. I like cauliflower, but yes, frozen blended cauliflower. Don't know how I feel about that. Uh, it's probably just easiest to do this as a script. Mhm. All right. So I've set up my inputs and outputs. Outputs. What did I call it? Formatted output equals JSON. JSON. Did I just write JSON when I said JSON? Wow. Okay. JSON parse. Okay, so it might fail here because it might already be parsed. And then when it's getting into the field, it's getting stringified. Do I think it's already... I want to bank on it being a stringified response. Is there a JSON parser? Whatever. I'm just gonna do it in script. I forgot. It's been a while. I don't build actions all the time. I'm just gonna do it here. Whatever. Inputs, raw, output, dot, oh, and then dot. What was it? Model output. Yeah, dot model output. Guess I could test this, but the true test will be unexpected token U. What? Oh, oops. I forgot to actually data pill it. Nope, still the unexpected token U. Output. Outputs dot formatted output equals JSON parse of inputs dot raw output. No, maybe it is already. No, because I just gave it a U. I just gave it this entire string. Should be able to parse that. Yeah. Getting that error from. What's not well, what I just went through every that's why I went through every single variable. Nothing's undefined. Raw output, inputs, dot. Ha! I spelled it wrong. The variable. Ugh. Okay, that's what I get for not copy pasting everything. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Too bad. I'm I'm so dumb sometimes. Okay, if no error, does it show up here if I just published it? Do I have to refresh? Let me see. Oh, there it is. All right, so I converted it with that custom action. And let's test it against this one. Hey, here's our smoothie. I guess there is more editing. We need to make sure it stops saying this because we don't need it. Because really all we need is that to have this expanded prompt. But it's formatted correctly, so that's really easy. So back in the day when it was just business rule ways of manipulating the NASC output, it was that DAW walking you had to do to figure out where this exact output was, it was frustrating. But now with using the out of box run now it's a skill kit skill as a execute skill action. That means all we had to do is either JSON parse it in an action, or I just scripted one line of saying convert this output to input, convert this input into a formatted output. So that was actually really easy to do. Now, back to the original problem of why is it giving me smoothie stuff over and over and over again? Let's take one step back and jump back into, oop, that's not the one, into expand my prompt. I was really hoping to wrap up this app in this episode so that I can move on to other stuff. Here it is. Go to skill settings. Using now nothing in here about this is weird. No tools, just the prompt. I guess what we can do is, what else do we have available to us under execute skill? The provider, which isn't much necessary. Response, error code status. Here, let's do figure out exactly where this might be going wrong. We're going to update this prompt. Ben is saying let's go back to the prompt, and we are going to take an axe to this entire thing and say just respond. This is all foobar. And let me save. I just pasted in here to save for later. But we're going to just do this. It doesn't even want to respond with it. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay. Finalize. We're going to push this one. Sorry. Okay. We got to update it. Christy wants it to say potato. Potato in all caps, apparently. And before I regret this, let me just commit this real quick. Okay, let's test this against 6. It liked potato. Oh, I know what you're talking about because he says potato comes from, if you think you're talking to a chatbot and you ask it to say potato and they refuse to say potato, like, are they human or are they not human at that point? Okay, so here's the fun part. Let's put this back in, and if it goes back to the health smoothie, that means our prompt is going haywire, and we need to update the prompt in some way. Oh, why did I publish? Oh, but see, what the problem is when I test it, I'll even test it against 5 because let's see, what was 5? 5 was write a dev story for enhancing the incident table. It's the correct output when I test it inside of the app. Finalize. Okay, I finalized it, and I just tested it against number 5, prompt 5. So I'm going to test it against prompt 5 and run it. And let's see. Did it not work? It worked. It still did the potato one. I thought, why isn't it? Let me refresh this. Should be on V4 now. It's still on V3. I thought I published that. I did. I even finalized it. Publish. Oh, let's see. We're just dealing with random stuff now. Okay. Again, run test. It's the prompt. Something about the prompt is like intercepting it and saying, "Forget what I give you and just make me a breakfast smoothie," over and over again. But how is that possible? Because it's testing prompt properly inside of this interface. Okay. Yeah, but like everyone thinks like there's something happening inside the prompt that makes it want to inject. Also, hey, professor of logic. I mean, let's go through it. So here is the prompt. Just real quick, gut check. Nothing about breakfast. Nothing about smoothie. Okay, so what I'm thinking is happening is that at somewhere along the line, I think it's closer to what Christy might be saying. Somewhere along the way, it doesn't get to here. And so it kills the rest. Or it's killing, yeah, it's killing the rest and then saying, well, I don't have anything to go off of. I don't know what the prompt is that the user inputted. So we're going to just return the first thing that I have in my LLM about uh, this process that matches, and it's about smoothies. So here it is. I don't think there's anything in here that was accepting. No, no, because it's in the analysis skill kit side of things. So there's a little bit of a. I think there's a black box situation at that point, but I'm not sure because it's hitting an LLM. I don't think it logs reasoning. Okay, so we're gonna slowly truncate this prompt until yeah. So we're gonna yeah. Okay, so let's turn this into a no shot prompt instead. Right now it's few shot. So instead, we're just going to go this. I wonder if that's the why that's broken. Let me see. Um, Original prompt, and let's put prompt. No, prompt user input. No, it's the same. So that's still correct. Okay, let's truncate it down to this and see if it gets it right. Yeah, Ben had a good idea of I can if I where did it go? If I can find where version 1 was of this, we can also push it back to that one because I know that one worked last time we streamed. Well, it's a different result, has nothing to do with this. Professor of Logic says, by the way, I have no idea what you're doing. I'm just here for the ride. Buddy, me too. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just here for the ride. So one of my whoa, what was that down there? Oh yeah, because it doesn't have an output format. It's getting confused on how to. It did have a line in here about writing a poem. Didn't I? Or did I change that a while ago? All right, let's start from a new um create a job description for a professor of logic. We're going to test it against that one. Prompt 8. See what it comes up with. Okay. Now it's stuck. The whatever way we format it. When we formatted the prompt as this, it always returned a healthy breakfast smoothie thing. When we truncated it down to just these lines, now it's only giving us back write a poem about nature. And that is perplexing. So let's walk through this prompt. You are an expert prompt engineer specializing in the R.I.S.E.N framework. Your task is to take simple one-sentence prompts and expand them into comprehensive, well-structured prompts that maximize AI performance. Your process. When given a simple prompt, you will analyze it, make responsible assumptions, apply the R.I.S.E.N framework systematically, output a complete, enhanced prompt. Here's the R.I.S.E.N framework and how to apply it. Hey, Rashawn. Okay, let's add just a little bit right here. Here is the original prompt. Below is the original prompt that you are tasked with expanding. Mehel. All right, version 6, let's go. And just to be sure, I'm going to fully refresh this flow and test it again. We'll do the same one. All right, running it. Okay, so it's like one of those things, like somewhere hidden in this prompt, it's like injecting something and controlling. It thinks the original prompt is write a short story about a robot's journey to self-awareness. But if we go back to the flow execution and look at what we give it as the prompt, it says create a job description for a professor of logic. So somewhere along the line, the way we end up building this initial prompt is hitting different parts of its, like it's coming up with its own original prompt instead of using the one we inputted it. Is that the plot of the wild robot? So here we're gonna do this. I'm gonna take this input and I'm trying to isolate the variables, right? Because remember, if we run the test here for prompt 8 and run it, it's solid. Here's the user wants a job description for a professor of logic position, and then it creates a prompt for it. That's good. Um, but somewhere between here, where it's saying, or on the execution, it's saying it's giving it the right input, but then when it executes it, it's just making its own stuff up for what the original prompt was, which is bonkers. So I'm going to change this and say I'm going to set a flow variable here. Oh, is that flow logic? Yeah. I'm going to manually push it to just isolate it. I'm going to say the input is that flow variable string. There it goes. It's still the short robot string. Okay, so well, it's a good idea. Could scopes get in the way? It's in the same scope. Um, so let me reverse that. Just was trying to test it. So user input. Okay, so this is back to normal. Dynamic inputs should be prompt. I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Okay, I'm just gonna do it and let's see if it fixes it. And then I'll backtrack and say what was going on. Let me just make sure I'm correct and run it. That's what it was. Oh, I'm so it was right there. Okay. Okay. Well, at least we're ending the hour finding out what it was. Okay, let's walk it back. All right. So this is working. That part of it is working. I need to put back the original prompt, but what was going on is uh so frustrating. We as ServiceNow developers and or Flow people that work in Flow Designer and stuff like that, we are so used to for giving an action and input, we give it the input that we want to give it, right? Like the input we're trying to give the action is right here. This field, this effing field, user underscore input. That's not what Now's skill kit wants. So this entire time we were going in here and saying prompt record user input and giving it to that. That's not how Now's skill kit works, and I only remember that via two reasons. One, I've seen the raw script in a business rule of how it acts, and it doesn't want the specific string. The other part that made me realize it is when I click into this, when I saw this again, it's not asking for a raw input. It's asking for a record, which matches Now's skill kit's inputs of a record. And then you dot walk from there. It wants just the record, not the specific thing that you're trying to change it with, trying to input it. That's it. I'm so dumb. I should have known that. And I was on a wild goose chase trying to figure that out. Welcome to Real Development, everyone, where you just circle around forever wondering why everything's broken and it's something so simple. It wants a record in here because that's what the Now's skill kit's inputs are expecting is a record. Yeah, so that's what it is. Figured it out. So I'm going to save that. I am going to update this prompt back to my wild one. Nope. One. Copy. Paste. Final. Nope. Save. Finalize. Publish. I'm going to get rid of this so that hopefully it's in the format that I want it. Test it again. Run test. There it is. Now, if I take this, so we have finished the app. I know there's the service portal side of things. I can work on that a separate time to get it so that people at home can use this app. But for now, the full logic and core of the app is done. So if I were to go into something like ChatGPT, and instead of saying create a job description for a professor of logic, I can use this app to do a much more robust prompt. And I can go through it, see if it fits the things I like, change it a little bit. But the fact is, it got me a much better prompt and now 90% of the way there, and I can just edit it now. And this is a much better prompt, and I do some editings, and now I have a much more robust prompt than just simply saying, I want a job description for a professor of logic, and give that to AI, and it will come up with what I'm looking for. The end. You know what? Honestly, that's not that bad, right? It took 4 hours to get to the end of this fully robust app. Because I did everything within this show, and I've only streamed this 4 times. This is my 4th episode, I believe. So we made this entire app in 4 hours. That's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Professor of Logic says I need a deep fake of Leo to be the face of Promptception. And then anytime you submit, it needs to go from. But yeah, I think that's a solid success to end on. I can't believe we spent. That was like 45 minutes trying to figure that out. I probably troubleshooted like 6 different things to isolate the problem. Hooray, we're all good. Was it entertaining to watch me struggle through all of that? I hope it was. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for struggling with me as I bang my head against the Now-Assist skill kit wall. Probably could have read documentation first and figured that out earlier, but whatever. Okay. Bye, everyone. In 2 weeks, I guess I'm going to start a different project. I'm probably going to build something silly next time. So it's due for me to be a little silly on this show. I like building weird stuff and weird fun things that people can play with. So we'll do something like that next time. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Toodles, adios.